All right, and we're live. I'm sorry about the delay, folks. Believe it or not, I was going to be here on time, but I got a call from my sister-in-law telling me she hadn't heard from my brother, and she wanted me to go check on him. She's not home, so I drove to the house on the other side of town, and he's all right. He was just mowing his grass till super late, and left his phone inside, and never even knew it was ringing the whole time. So everything's okay, and I just got back and gonna get to some of your questions here. And oh, I got to turn this off. Hold on just a second, make sure I get everything ready. Hopefully there's not too bad of an echo there. I don't think there would be, but I am going to get to some of your questions here that you have. Easy questions today. Let's see. Let's see. I want to read New J Order. I want to buy all the books at once. Any sites cheap with good quality books? Amazon.com is your only choice, unless you find a lot for sale on eBay. Please play Eldritch Horror by Fantasy Flight Games. You know what? I would love to. I don't have a copy. I just met a guy who has a copy, and he's not part of my gaming group yet. But if he becomes one, then I'll ask him to bring it over and we'll play it. Let's see. What other questions do I have today? Brendan, am I a fan of alternate history? Harry Turtledove wrote a lot of books about alternate history that have been interesting. I can't remember if I've read one or two of them. It was a long time ago. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I'm a fan though. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. What do you think of the fox-like Amaran species from the expanded universe? Says Ray Blitz. Actually, I think it's pretty cool. I actually invented a character. I think he was a pirate. He was, up to no good. He was kind of like in a way, a Jack Sparrow before Jack Sparrow. Was it before Jack Sparrow? I don't know. I wasn't thinking about Jack Sparrow, but he's kind of a down on his luck pirate. I can't remember his name now that I think about it. And another one. What Star Wars related person would you like to meet in real life? He says Shannon McRandall, Timothy Zahn, who I've already met, Mark Hamill, who I already have his autograph. Um, that's a great question. I thought about it. For books, James Luceno, because I'd like to get his autograph on a lot of stuff. In movies, to be honest, the guy who played Wedge, and his name escapes me now. Someone's going to let me know. And let's see. He said, who do you think would be the Star Wars version of Jeff Johns? That, Jedi Acolyte, is the best question of the night. If anyone doesn't know, Jeff Johns has been he's taken over kind of DC's universe. He's been doing a fantastic job with the comic books, and they are killing Marvel right now in comics just because the story is that dang good. I mean, who watches The Watchmen, right? It's so smart. Who would I put in charge of the expanded universe besides me? What do you think? Do you think I should do it? Do you think I can do it? I'd love to do it. I don't know, Leland Chee, maybe. Put him in charge. Put Troy Denning in charge of an author, I'd love to do it, though. What franchise do you think should have an expanded universe attached to it that doesn't already have one? That question was easy. That is Tremors. I love Tremors, the TV show, the movies. There are 5 of them. There is a 6th one coming out next year that I am uber excited about. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think Kevin Bacon just reaffirmed a few weeks ago that the TV series starring him is happening. Now, he keeps calling it a reboot, but I think the site is saying, I read somewhere today. Did I print that out? I printed it out. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in the back pocket. Nope. But that they're thinking about it's going to base off Val, years from now. It's going to be in the same universe, but it's going to be different adventures. They're not going to meet up. Maybe Tremors 8 will have Kevin Bacon in it. That would be awesome. Well, Tremors 8. Tremors 7. Getting ahead of myself. I love the Tremors movies. Anyway, let's see. Do you think Ahsoka would have been better as Plo Koon's Padawan? Yes, anyone would have been better than Anakin. Not a knock against Anakin, but Ahsoka would have learned more. I don't think it's interesting because in the new canon, I doubt this was explored, but the negative effects of having Anakin Skywalker. Because let's be honest, folks, he's no one's role model, right? He fell to the dark side, and he had problems all through the movies. We saw that. So he couldn't have been the perfect master. It would have been interesting to hear something about how Ahsoka's kind of screwed up because of how her master is, and that's where she gets some rashness about her. And her thoughts on the Force are kind of irrational because of that. I don't know. I think that'd been an interesting story. Who are your top 10 EU characters and why? Dark Phoenix. I did that on, I think I want to say Prince of the Universe, very early Prince of the Universe. I'll tell you my number one again. It's Kyp Durron from the EU. I think he's just a fantastic Jedi. He's a gray Jedi. He walks the line between, he's like a gray Jedi. And I think that's how in real life, if people had the Force and they were inherently good, we would still make mistakes. And I think that's exactly how I would be if I was a Jedi. So that's why I picked Kyp Durron. There's a few other people too I like, but like I said, watch the podcast. I can't remember which one. If someone can help me figure out which one it was one of the earlier ones. Do you think State Pestage and Mas Amedda were involved with Palpatine's plan, or were they surprised he was a Sith Lord? Oh, plan. Yeah, plane there, Chris. Were they surprised with Palpatine's plane? That's an interesting question. Was it an invisible jet? I know what you meant, plan. Let's see. That's a great question. I think they were in on it from the beginning. Wouldn't you think so? Because when he switches to Sith Master, they're not really sitting there going, I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad I'm on his side. I think they already knew. They knew about his plane, too. All right. Oh yeah, Snoopy. Yeah, I love doing the board game night, but you're right. I just set up the camera real quick and I just shot it real quick. And next time I will get the board more than us, even though it was kind of funny. What was going on? Tim, the long-haired guy with the glasses sitting on the end, he was winning. He was winning. He was going to win, but no one was paying attention. What my strategy was is I knew there weren't that many tiles left in the deck, and if I went a different way than everyone else, and luck would have it, I drew the last tile, and I put that tile on my, you can place the tile anywhere you want, so I put it right next to me. I was saving a really good card that gave me a +2 in combat, and I played that. I looked at CJ like, they don't know what's going on. And you can see CJ's face like, what? And he sees me, because I'm kind of giving the eye like, look, I'm about to win this game while they're all talking. And then that's when he goes, guys, Matt's about to win this game. And we were playing with the expansion Zombies 15, which is actually pretty good. As Zombies expansions goes, that's in my upper. Well, I did my top whatever. I ranked those games on my few Q&As ago, and that's one of my upper crust, one of the better ones they've had. So that was a fun one. I want to do more like that. Eventually we will. We were just having so much fun that night. We said, we should turn the camera on. We're not going to turn the camera on tomorrow night. But because we're playing, what's on board for tomorrow night? Tomorrow night, Nick, if you're watching, Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. I've been wanting to show them that for a while now. What was the other one I said? Oh, Dice Town. I've been wanting to show Dice Town too. And I want to do Incognito, but I think one of my group is not going to be there. And we're trying to get a smaller group, like 4, and he's not going to be there. So I can't play Incognito because you have to have at least 4. With 5, we could even play Incognito. But I don't know. Maybe At the Gates of Loyang. Have I reviewed that game? I think I have. I want to say I have. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna play a few games. It's gonna be fun. Anyone's invited to come over tomorrow if you want to. We just launched our version of the site on the Ren Network. Could you give us a shout out? Oh, okay. All right. So Twin Sons Foundation. All right, good deal. Can you put that link in the live Q&A, and you can put in the comments as well? That's awesome. Awesome. Love Twin Sons. Love what they do. Do you think Disney will release the Young Readers trilogy of Star Wars books under Legends? Oh, wow. They haven't. Have they? Oh, wow. I thought they would have, but they haven't released those in Legends. I want to say they have. I haven't kept up with it, but the young, are you talking about the Young Jedi Knights? Oh, are you talking about the Junior Jedi Knights? They probably won't. Any of the junior books, they won't. And it's a shame because they should. Things like Jedi Apprentice, Jedi Quest, Galaxy of Fear, and Junior Jedi Knights, those deserve reprints. They do deserve reprints. I've been playing a lot of Old Republic MMO lately, and one mission I killed a Terrak. I want to know if being a non-force sensitive is an advantage when it comes to fighting them. I don't know. I don't know. Like in real, I mean the game. I don't know, but I don't know. You know what though? What was that game? Galaxies. Uh, when I was playing, I played Galaxies for just a short few days. I enjoyed it, but I heard it was back in the day. It was really hard to become a Jedi. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to be a Jedi. I think I want to be someone else. Like if I wrote a story, I don't think it would have Jedi. I like stories without Jedi in it. I love Jedi, but when there was a story without Jedi, like when West End Games did an adventure and it didn't have any Jedi, that appealed to me more than a story with a Jedi. Isn't that weird? But anyway, not that my character wouldn't be a Jedi in a role playing game. It probably would, but would it? I don't know. Interesting to think about. London, Reese. Thank you for calling from tuning in from London. How would I rate Darth Plagueis in the EU, and what other books would you put on that level? Plagueis is one of my favorite books ever. Plagueis is one of my favorite books too. I believe I said it was in my top 20, and it is in my top 20. If you liked that, the Darth Bane trilogy, Obi-Wan is really good. Those would also probably be in my top 20. There's a few Bantam books I like. Well, I like everything. I like a lot of stuff post Jedi. I'm a post Jedi kind of guy. That stuff is really good. But you're asking about single books that really hit. I would go with any of the Darth Bane. Oh, Deceived from the Old Republic. I really like that one. What else was good? Death Troopers was good. I'm looking at my shelf over here. I'm looking for one-shot hard hitters. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones out there. Of course, Timothy Zahn. That's a trilogy. Shadows of the Empire is not bad. I wonder. You know, I haven't read it in a while. Anyone who's read it recently, does it still hold up to all the hype? It had a lot of hype behind it when I read it. So, but was it hyped up too much? Let me know. I still think Jabba never had the makings of a varsity athlete. You got that right. After you're finished story reels of are the unfinished story reels of the Clone Wars part of the Legends or only canon? Well, they fit, Sam. They fit in both, just like the Clone Wars series does. It fits in both, like the movies do, and so they're both canon. Even the unfinished story reels. Well, technically, according to Lucasfilm, back in the day, those would have been non-canon, like the deleted scenes were non-canon. So I guess they would have been non-canon. I don't mind putting them in. Some of them had, again, even the unfinished stories that you're talking about, the ones they released on StarWars.com, but didn't on the DVD for some reason. Yes, even isn't it funny how 50% of those were pretty a good idea, and the others were like garbage. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad they didn't make this. This sucks. So I'm 50-50 down the road on Clone Wars through and through. What do you think will happen first? The EU getting continued or the Mets making the playoffs? Dak, I hate you. The Mets making the playoffs this year, baby. We're not done yet. It's only half the season over, and we're not at 500. Oh, doesn't let you post links to chat? Okay, that's fine. Put it in the comments, though. Oh, put a space between the .com. Okay. Oh, it won't work? Oh, that's weird. Well, just look up Twin Suns Foundation. It's there. If Legends were to continue and they want you to create a new dilemma after Crucible, how would it be like? Actually, John, I answered this question. When did we answer this question, folks? It was Yub Nub's Halloween special last year. I think I answered the question. How would I run the EU? But I'll answer it now. I truly believe, and even though Troy Denning said, according to him, there was no plan, but he doesn't know. But I truly believe they were building up the Hutt angle after what Christy Golden talked about in her book. Was it Allies or was no? It was the next one after that. Oh, I can't see on my shelf. But anyway, she had a Hutt story, and if you notice, the Hutts have been kind of quiet. We don't know much about them. We knew what they used to be back in the day. We know they're shifty. We don't know what kind of army they have. They don't form together. But if the mafia got crunched and it looks like they're getting crushed on both sides, and with no villains, you know, cracking down on crime and cracking down on the Hutts, wouldn't the Hutts band together for that one moment and all those great minds concoct the most sinister idea? Wouldn't that be awesome? You wouldn't even know. They may have this long defunct army on Nal Hutta that they can rise from the ashes of the swamp and build ships and just pour all their funds in to strike back at a galaxy who's crushing them, you know, wiping out all their illegal activities. Now that there's no more bad guys in the galaxy, you don't need Force sensitives because the Jedi would still be going after Abeloth, and so they'd be too spread out for Luke to even worry about that, and it's really not his problem because the Republic is working on that. But it becomes a bigger problem. But by that time, Luke's hip deep in, you know, cracking down on the lost tribe of the Sith. They're fighting them and they're fighting Abeloth. So you could have the Jedi totally on their own different adventure and have the people on their own against Hutt crime lords and have this big, you know, like Godfather, like who do the Hutts really paid off? Maybe they're senators who shoot other people. Someone tries to assassinate Princess Leia or someone else, you know, in the council because they're paid off, but the Hutts know their kids. I think there's just like so much potential in that. But that's where I would go. That's why I elect me to run the EU. Anyway. All right. I feel way behind on that question. That's okay. It's not like I'm ever going to catch up on these. Good question. Would you like Cade Skywalker to make his way back into the Black Series? Yeah, I love Cade Skywalker. I think he's great. Would I consider the Clone Wars semi-canon? No, I mean, I hate it, but, I mean, well, I hate 50% of it. That doesn't mean it's semi-canon. It's like, this hat is a little too tight. Hold on. That was giving me a headache there. Ow. Okay. Anyway, no, it's not semi-canon as much as I dislike it. It is part of the canon, but remember, in Fantasy Flight, the Force and Destiny source book there, it's those stories aren't exactly the truth. In a way, I guess that does make it semi-canon, but they're stories being told by Imperial propaganda. Matt, what's the Ultimate Zombie set? The Ultimate Zombie set looks pretty enticing. Yes, it does. For $275 though, it is a good deal. Hold on, let me take a swig. I would buy it if I didn't have the expansions. I sometimes worry what Twilight Creations was thinking. That is an awful big price. Usually big boxes cost around, big boxes, folks, have like several little expansions inside of them. Queen Games does them all the time. And that Twilight Creations, like, all of a sudden decided to do this. They dumped the carrying case idea, which I thought was stupid because I didn't really like the carrying case they had. But thinking now, I said, you know what? I would have gotten that carrying case. And I hope that they do make one because I want to condense some of my board games. And Zombies takes up, like I said, 2 shelves, all the expansions, all the spin-offs. I put on my Medieval, which is a spin-off of Zombies, in 1 box, barely. But the rest of the stuff won't fit in a box. So I kind of hope they do that. But Twilight Creations, man, they're weird. They've been talking about Martians 2 for like, oh gosh, when did I go to Gen Con? Dragon Con 4 years ago. They told me it was coming out that year. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And I love those people, man. It's still one of my favorite games. But obviously, I played it last week. But I don't know, man. That's a big deal. But you know what? For $275 though, if you want them all, and if I didn't have them all, I would get it. But I'm thinking, who else would have that money to throw down? You know, usually, like I said, big boxes go for 87. You know, they're under $100. They're a big ticket, of course, because they're everything. And I love when they do those ultimate boxes. But I've come late to the game too. So a few games I picked up. I picked up 2 big boxes recently, and I haven't reviewed them yet because one has 9 mini expansions in it, but it's fantastic. It's such a fantastic game. The other one just has 3 mini expansions in it, and that's actually pretty good. So anyway, both great questions. Which version of the Battle of Coruscant do you like better? Labyrinth of Evil, check. Clone Wars. Tatarsky's Clone Wars. I know they don't fit exactly hand in hand, but Labyrinth of Evil was pretty darn good. What novels of the EU would have the underworld, like the TV show that was being planned about the crime? What novels of the EU would have the underworld? Not really. I mean, which one? Coruscant Knights had it a little bit. Kevin J. Anderson's Jedi Academy trilogy talks about the slums of Coruscant. And to be honest, Jedi Apprentice and Jedi Quest talked about the slums of Coruscant a little bit. So a little bit about the underworld. I would have loved to have seen a TV show about the underworld. I think it would have been awesome. Dark Phoenix, totally agree with you. Phantom Menace novelization is actually better than the movie. Honestly, it gets passed over a lot because we all love Matthew Stover's Episode 3. I think it's amazing. And Alan Dean Foster's, no, not R.A. Salvatore's Episode 2 is pretty good as well. But Terry Brooks gets overlooked a little bit for his Episode 1. It does have some nice detail in it. And he sat down with George Lucas and talked about some detail, like history of the Sith and stuff. It has some pretty good stuff in there. It keeps close to the movies. It even talks about some deleted scenes, which do make them canon. But you know, overall, really good. Terry Brooks is a good author, and I don't think people know how well. Fancy writers know how good he is. But that was a big deal to have Terry Brooks. I'm so glad I got his autograph at Gen Con. What was it, last year, guys? Last year I got his autograph on my Episode 1 novel. I was super excited about that. What are your thoughts on what Star Wars timeline is saying that Rogue One can fit in Legends? You know what? I love Joe. I'm good friends with Joe at Star Wars Timeline, and we agree to disagree on that. Joe's someone who likes to see what he can fit into the old EU. I'm someone that says we don't need any of those stories. Not to be snobby, we don't need those stories. We have great stories already. I don't want to put a square peg in a circle. Yeah, you can shave off the edges, and it may fit. You got to shave off some edges. But to be honest, no, I'm not for that. And again, I love Joe. I love Star Wars Timeline.net. I check it actually every once in a while. And I look to Joe for guidance on a lot of things. And I get his input on a lot of things too. So I have all the love in the world for Joe. We just disagree on that. And it's a friendly disagreement too. A very civil disagreement. And folks, don't get mad at Star Wars Timeline. Joe's a big supporter of the EU. He loves Star Wars, you know, so he wants to mesh it together. I told you I think that's bad, but that's my opinion. Joe has a different opinion. You also have different opinions from me too. So that's totally cool. How do I feel about those EU trolls threatening to spoil Last Jedi when it comes out? You know what, man? Those dudes, I think because they made the news 2 years ago, they're trying to stir up trouble again, so they'll make the news again. I think it's just trying to get famous. Like that news got totally blown up. I was in Phoenix listening to a radio show when they announced that these fans of the books were going to spoil the movies. It was like, what? And of course, that didn't happen. You know, spoiler alert here, folks. The internet is a spoiler. Every movie gets spoiled the day it comes out because the internet's alive. Actually, days before it comes out because people get to see it early and they tell everyone. So this is no news that people are going to spoil Last Jedi. Every movie gets spoiled. You just have to Google it. That's it. I knew everything about Episode 7 before it came out. Everything, the whole plot, everything that happened because they'd already spoiled it. And these weren't fans of the expanded universe. These are just regular people who spoil everything. So, bleh. I did hear Waru isn't he isn't running he isn't ruling out 2020. That's right. He's going to make Star Wars great again. Did you anyway? I find Attack of the Clones worse. That's just me. Really? Maybe I need to read it back over again. I thought Ari Salvatore did a good job. Bob does a good job. Ah, got it. Thank you. Omen. It was Omen. Well, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah, Hutt Army would be awesome. Whoa, whoa. I have lost control. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, hold on. Pablo's going to do anything to tweet about stuff he doesn't know. The movement isn't involved. That's the internet. And Star Wars knows that. StarWars.com, the people there at Lucasfilm, they know that. I feel the junior series won't get released again because they're children's books, and they will not reprint those. I don't think Scholastic will have a desire to reprint old Star Wars fiction. That's just me, though. I hope they do. I just don't think they will. I agree. I think people on both sides are too hard on Pablo. Yeah. I've seen people in the EU be very, 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 very rude to Pablo. So, yeah, I agree with that. Matt Wilkins is live. Does it really say that? He's live. Come get him. Just like someone ringing the dinner bell. In episode 4, Tarkin uses the Death Star to make an example of the rebels. Do you think he rules through fear because he wants to bring order, or is he 100% evil? Oh. I believe Tarkin is he's cold-hearted, but he wants order. He wants them to fall in line, do things. He wants a strict and orderly thing. He's a little bit of evil as a mix. A lot of those Imperials believed in order. This is what must be done. Tarkin maybe had a cruel streak, but he was a soldier and he reported. That's why he and Anakin Darth Vader kind of had an agreement between each other. They're both soldiers. So I think he may have wanted order more than he was evil. Maybe. Good question, though. TK421, why aren't you at your post? Sorry, I had to say it. Who would you want to write the Silmarillion of the EU? To be honest, folks, Joe Bongiorno has already written it. I want him to put it out. It's so good. I read it, so good. He said he's doing a little rewrite because Joe's a perfectionist. And he's doing a rewrite on it. He's putting none of the new canon in there. He's just talking about the old canon, the beginnings of the universe, the unexplained of the universe. And I ask him every 3 months. Yeah, I've asked him 2 times already this year, and I will ask him again in a few more months. When's it coming out? I think it's fantastic. I can't wait for y'all to read it. Have you read any A.C. Crispin Star Trek novels? No, but you know what? I was going to talk about this. She was huge in Star Trek. That's how she got the job doing Star Wars, because she did such a good job with Star Trek. But I have not. I read some of the old Star Trek books back in the day, like the old 80s, 70s, and 80s ones, and then stopped. I didn't get into the newer ones, even though I heard there were some good ones. Matt, did you know that how Hayden Christensen tried to eliminate David Prowse's body movement when he was Anakin? Yes. Hayden. To be honest, folks, Hayden Christensen is not that bad of an actor. If you watch, what was his other movie? Jumper. I can't remember what it was called. That was not bad. My dad loves Awake, and I think he was in Awake. But he actually wasn't that bad an actor. It was just George was not that good at directing. I mean, come on. Natalie Portman was not that good in those movies yet. She's great in a lot of stuff. Ewan McGregor, great actor. Big Fish. Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen Big Fish, watch Big Fish. Ewan McGregor at his best. Liam Neeson, he's flat in episode 1, but he's great. He's one of my wife's favorite actors. So I think Hayden's actually pretty good. If you could rewrite a brand new story on one Sith and one Jedi, who would you pick, and what story would you intend to change? If you intended to change it, I wouldn't change anything in the EU, good or bad. I love it all. So I wouldn't rewrite anything, but one Sith and one Jedi. Obviously, Kit Durin. I'd have a Kit Durin novel because I love Kit Durin. One Sith, Darth Ruin. First one, I think he'd be interesting to read about. Reading through the EU in order of its release, is Splinter of the Mind's Eye worth the time? Yeah, it is. It is. First, it's the father of the EU. Have I played Smash Up? No, I have not. I'll be honest, Snoopy. A lot of my some of my friends have Smash Up and they love it. It doesn't appeal to me. The games I'm showing you, most of the games I'm showing you, those appeal to me. Those appeal to me. So no, I haven't played, but I haven't played it. I wouldn't be against playing it, but when I see it, I'm like, ugh, doesn't look like my cup of tea. Do you think Vistari Kai would start a relationship with Ben Skywalker, leave the dark side? Okay, all right, Vistari. What was you're asking me? What I think her fate was? They said that she was not going to join the dark, light side. Like Ben was not going to turn her. That was not the overall storyline or the thing that they thought. I think it would have been nice. I think it would have been good. Would have been cliche, yes, but I like Ben and Vistari. I thought they made a good couple. I mean, they sold me on the angle there, and Ben's got to get cracking soon, right, for Cole to be born so that Cade can be born and everything can fit in the timeline. Honestly, Ben has to have a kid like in his young 20s for this to work out. I think we calculated, was it 20, 22? I think Ben can't be older than 22 before he has his first kid, Cole. I think. You can check me on that. It's been a while since I did the numbers. But I remember calculating it, and Ben Skywalker has to have a child in his young 20s. I just remember thinking that. Maybe that's just me. Oh, I misunderstood your question, Captain Wilhelm. I got it now. Yes, I agree with that. Well, oh, I lost it. Hold on. Sorry, I lost where I was. Oh, I hate how they work this on YouTube. No, talking to George doesn't make something good, but I disagree. George is very creative. George can come up with great ideas, and if he can put it in the right minds, you can have a great story. I mean, look at Empire, look at Jedi. George's idea, the directors massaged the script. I believe Terry took it over and painted a much more beautiful picture than George would have. But I think George is very creative, and he comes up with good ideas. And I think creative people, you're right, non-creative people, phony. They can screw things up with George's guidance. So George isn't infallible by no means, but he's very creative. And I think with creative people, great things can come from that. How do you print your Tales of the Jedi hardcover? Have a lulu.com, lulu.com. Watch how you make that cover, though. I hear they're cracking down on very lifelike Star Wars covers. I make a very boring, generic cover, and then I have a buddy of mine make it up, and I go print it out at Kinko's. Big glossy. It costs, the cover costs a few bucks to make at Kinko's, but I do that just in case they flag me. But yeah, lulu.com. And it's awesome when that book comes in. It's awesome. Make sure you have page numbers. make sure the font is correct too. Make sure it's a bigger font that you can read. I made a mistake on the second novel, and the font was way too small. I didn't check my font. I had smaller font than I thought I did, and mistake. But I still love them. I still love that I have those books. How did the Comptonor explanation pass? Someone told me Lucasfilm policy would overwrite. Lucas said that the Clone Wars would overwrite anything but the 6 movies. All I know is after Disney took over, Fantasy Flight put it in their novel, and I talked to the Fantasy Flight. Dylan, were you with me? No, you were watching the dadgum Armada. I talked to Fantasy Flight, and I told him this is my interpretation. That'd be right, because the guy who, then he said, all he just said was, that's a good interpretation. That's all he said. So I think they did it just as a goodbye present for EU fans, which I really appreciated. Do I think Star Wars is superior to most sci-fi? It was. It was. Why? Because it had one continuous storyline from books, comics, TVs, and movies. Now it does not. Now it has alternate storylines like everyone else. Is it one of the greatest sci-fi franchises of all time? Definitely. Definitely. It's one of the bigger ones. Star Trek is really big. Star Trek has more TV out there. They rule the TV land. We rule the movie world, or we will soon enough. I think we've already beat them in movies now. Have we? I don't know. But either way, Star Trek and Star Wars are the big ones. Yeah. Behind that's a bunch of third place. Is Doctor Who really sci-fi? Hey, maybe. Doctor Who's getting big too. I love Firefly, but that's kind of dead in the water. Tremors is hobbling along, but doesn't have a big fan base it deserves. What? Battlestar Galactica's gone. Stargate's gone. Oh, Stargate was so good. Stargate was so good. Babylon 5, excellent series. So, yeah, Star Wars, ongoing, yeah. Hey, Jacob, thanks. Thanks for being new to the channel. Oh, someone, I forgot, another question I got last time. I didn't answer it. I guess someone was new to the channel. They said, why don't you get more subscribers? He wasn't being mean. I think he's saying you deserve more subscribers. How come you're not getting them? I'm not worried about how many subscribers. I don't have to be big. Subscribe. I'm not here to make money, you know, on the channel. I don't want to retire and just live off YouTube. That'd be cool, but no, actually, it wouldn't be cool. I love my job. I love what I do. So, I'm not in it for, like, you know, getting real popular. I want to be a YouTube personality. No, I'm just having fun. I love talking about the expanded universe. This is why I do it. You guys make it fun, though. Really, you do. It's like I said, having subscribers is like having friends, not really fans, but I consider y'all friends because we share the same interest. And whenever I talk to any of you, like in a live Q&A, which is what I love doing, I think, dang, every single one of you think, dang, if we all lived together, like y'all be over at my house, we'd be having so much fun. We'd be playing some board games, right, Snoopy? We would be talking EU and just having a great time. I see that of everyone. So that's why I don't say fan, I say friends. Subscribers are friends, man. Thanks for being my friend. I don't have Facebook, so this is about as social as I get, right? Shattered Glass. Yes, Hayden was great in that. Oh, I didn't know Hayden was in a Bruce Willis film. I'll have to check it out. Or he will be. X-Ray, Matt, what happened to those Star Wars books that didn't come out in the U.S.? You said something about them a long time ago. Just needed translation or something. Yeah, they were in Hungarian. Folks, I met a Hungarian this past weekend. I was like, oh, I didn't want to freak him out and be like, you need to come to my house, read some books. Yeah, Hungarian Han Solo books. There are 4 of them made. I tried a loose translation on them. And a literal translation is not good. If someone were to make a literal translation, they need to massage the story a little bit because it wasn't. I translated, I think, the first chapter or most of it. It was back when Joe and I were working on getting translators and trying to figure out how we could do it, and it wasn't working out right. So not only do I need a Hungarian to translate it, but probably someone else to kind of rewrite it a little bit to make it sound better because it just wasn't sounding good. It sounded a little flat. You know, dog barks at tree, tree barks at dog. Han runs around corner and yells this. Chewbacca says this. So-and-so says this. They go to the Millennium Falcon cockpit and see this. Something like that. So it's kind of what it was sounding like. Kind of bland. Yeah, I agree, Dark Phoenix. I don't think Lucas can do dialogue. Do I think Qui-Gon relied much on the Force guidance rather than his own instincts? And it's because of him being so reliant on the Force that got him killed. That's interesting. Oh, that's an interesting insight there. Perhaps so. I like it. Very good. Catan's great. I had a buddy, one of my gaming group guys finally broke down. He bought Catan and he bought Seafarers. He borrowed it from me. No, he borrowed it from me, but his parents got it for him for his birthday, so he gave it right back. But they are loving it. He said, "What can I play with my family?" I said, and I named a few things. I named a few basic games like Monopoly, Life, whatever. And I said, if you want to get them into board gaming like us, Catan. He's like, "Oh, they love it. They love it. My mom loves it." And so he's playing with his mom and dad every night, and now they're playing Seafarers, and Catan is still one of my favorites. I don't care if people make fun of me; it's still one of my favorites. Oh wow! They announced the Mace Windu, so they are giving the prequels some love. That's interesting. That's the first time they've ever given the prequels some love, by the way, or that I know of. Could be wrong on that. Woo! I am behind, aren't I? Will you watch the new Star Trek series? I hope so, but the last trailer I saw did not make me happy. I was not interested in it, but I will check it out because I do love Star Trek. Is Crystal Star really that bad? Wait till my review. I actually know someone who loves Crystal Star. Ever watch The Dark Crystal and Willow? Both, yes. Dark Crystal, okay. Willow, excellent. It's Lucas's version of Lord of the Rings in a way. It's great. It's a great movie. Love Willow. The soundtrack to Willow is fantastic too. That's kind of odd, but the soundtrack is really good. I'm a fan of movie soundtracks. Do I think Guardians of the Galaxy movies count as the next space opera, even when they're part of the MSU? Yeah, you could look at it that way. John, put me a link in the comments. Not in these chat. It won't give you a link. Give me a link. I'll check it out. Would I love if Disney released animated adaptations of EU novels? Oh, to similar to DC films, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. If Cole was born shortly after Crucible, he would be in his 80s. He dies in Legacy. No, not shortly after Crucible. Ben is still, how old is Ben? He turns 13 in Legacy, so he's 14, 15. So there's got to be, oh, really? He's got to be 80s? Not Cole. You're thinking Cade, right? I don't know, Captain. I'll check that out again. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm going off the top of my head. I just remember that someone had to have a kid early. Maybe it was Cole. I can't remember, but someone had to have a kid early. I may have been wrong on that. Oh, I'm missing it. Ben, I'm sorry. There was Ben and then another Skywalker and then Cole. And one of them had to have a kid early. I think that's what I thought. I have seen the trailer for Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, and I'm not interested. Isn't that weird? I have zero interest in that movie. It's so weird. I should like a movie like that, but I don't. No, I haven't read R2 point of view fanfic. No, I'm not much for fanfics. Fanfics, a majority of them suck. I'm not saying that one sucks. I haven't read it, but usually I just pass on fanfics unless I know it's from someone who can, write something really well. But lately, there's been zero fanfic out there that's impressed me. I don't check any. I don't check much anymore either. Will you watch the Dark Tower movie in August? Every time I see another commercial, I step away from it further. I was very interested in it, and now it's gonna pass. It may not even hit Redbox at this moment for me. I may not even get it at Redbox. It's weird. Another thing, I love Stephen King. I think Dark Tower is a great idea. I've never read it, but I hear it's great and I want to see it. But then at the same time, the more I see that those trailers, I think they look awful. Hopefully the movie's good. Folks, I'm a little bit, now I'm a movie snob, I'm a movie grump. I don't like many movies these days. I don't know why. That's really weird. I'm like, nothing beats the old time movies. I don't know what I'm like. I'm not a snob. I don't think I'm better than that movie. Not many movies interest me anymore. I'm interested about Tremors 6 more than I'm interested about anything else coming out this year. That's weird, isn't it? I know that's weird. One thing I feel supports Ventress being a double agent after Sullust is that she tells Obi-Wan she has no side but her own. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. What people don't realize is that without the EU, Star Wars would be exactly like other. Yeah, that's true. Can I show my Tales books? Sure. Why do I think Filoni? Well, why did Filoni think it was a good idea to give Obi-Wan a new love interest? Because he's an idiot. He's an idiot. Dark Phoenix answered that for me. I brought up your question on the books. The very first question, I answered it. Go back and watch the live feed after this is done. I would love to do Indiana Jones Expanding Universe, except I haven't read them all. I've only read a few of them. I am this close to pressing the button to get entire collections. To get the entire collection, comic books and everything is very easy. It would cost about, I remember, somewhere between $300 to $400, and I'm this close to pressing the button on every time, and I don't. I have so many other things to read. Maybe though. I mean, big maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows what the future holds, right? What did you and Bruce talk about the Planet of the Apes franchise on Prince of the Universe podcast yet? Have we talked about Planet of the Apes? Have we talked about Planet of the Apes? No, but we'll talk about it. Dadgum. Yeah. Planet of the Apes. I'm writing that down. I don't know if we have. Dadgummit. All right, hold on. Planet of the Apes. I'll make a note about that. War of the Planet of the Apes is coming out. I've seen the new movies. I think they're okay. I'm probably going to wait for rental on War of the Planet of the Apes. Unless my wife really wants to see it, then we'll go see it. No, Jacob, I don't look at the Disney canon. I just don't have any interest in it. I don't care if anyone else likes it. That's fine with me. It's just for me. And Jacob, you're new to the channel. Jacob, for me, the Star Wars universe wasn't even the movies. It was the books. I fell in love with the books and the comic books more than the movies. And so that's why I'm a big fan of the expanded universe. When they let that go, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm done. And I'm not done with Star Wars. I still love my books, but I don't watch much of the new stuff. I don't watch any of the new stuff. I don't read any of the new stuff, just because I don't have an interest in it. And you're saying, well, what is Star Wars? It's not my Star Wars story, the story that I grew up reading and loving and enjoying. I mean, I have no problem with anyone else watching it. I have no problem with anyone else watching it or reading the new stuff. But I hear the new stuff isn't that good. In fact, on Prince of the Universe, I may have found some news articles I'll go ahead and tell you. Something came out in the Washington Post that was fantastic on it. But anyway, we'll talk about that. Whoa, skipped ahead, skipped way ahead. Worst movie novelizations? I don't know. I don't read that many movie novelizations besides Star Wars. I don't know. Best to worst. I don't know. Oh, from Star Wars? Well, the actual Star Wars Return, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi were basically, no, not basically. They did have some nice scenes in them. The prequel books were better than the original trilogy books. But the original trilogy books weren't that bad. They weren't that bad. They're actually pretty fun. I don't know if I could rank them though. Do I feel the Tales of the Jedi series comic artwork is outdated and goofy looking? No. And you know what, Jonathan? It's a hard question for me to answer because I grew up in that era. And so for me, that just reminds me of just classic Dark Horse. For me, it does. For some people, they may go, eh. But for me, it's just it feels right. Like Dark Empire, Cam Kennedy, fantastic, fantastic. There's a friend of mine in Phoenix who hated the EU, but will admit that Cam Kennedy's art in Dark Empire is some of the finest stuff he's ever seen. And it's an odd, no one else has a style like Cam Kennedy. No one in the comic book world ever had a style like Cam Kennedy. And it was pretty good. It made him unique. Quantum, that's true. Anakin was raised in a temple. He didn't know how to hit on girls, so he should feel awkward. Actually, that's really good. That makes a lot of sense. You should write EU. Where would you suggest a non-comic book person begin reading non-Star Wars comics? Joel, do you like Batman? I think Batman's pretty good. What Batman book? Killing Joke? It's really dark. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that. Killing Joke. Someone help me. Where would they be? Nightfall. Batman Nightfall. I love Hush. Well, where is a good starter comic book to get into? That is a good question. I don't know, Joel. That's a good question. Great question, actually. And he said non-Star Wars comic books. Who's my favorite clone trooper? What was it, Clone 99, the one with the hunchback? I liked him in the series. Thoughts on Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's okay. They've had the last few have been ho-hum. I am looking forward to seeing Thor. I think that's gonna be decent. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was fantastic. Doctor Strange was horrible. Horrible. I hated it. And what is it? I'm not looking forward to Spider-Man. Can I say that? Is that okay? Y'all won't blow up and get mad at me, right? Well, we're gonna see it because the missus has to see it. But that kid just looks annoying. He seems annoying as Peter Parker. That's weird. I was wrong about Andrew Garfield. I said Andrew Garfield is a teenage heartthrob. He belongs on Tiger Magazine, not in a Spider-Man costume. I was wrong on him. So maybe I'm going to be wrong on this kid too. So I should give him a break and check it out first. But I thought Andrew Garfield, excuse me, Andrew Garfield did a fantastic job as Spider-Man. I liked even Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I know people knock on it, but no one used to knock on it back in the day. It was really good, and I think he did a good Spider-Man too. Do I like Jim Henson's fantasy movies and shorts about fairy tales? Ooh, it's been a while since I've seen them, so I do not remember them. If the Mets were to move to another place, would you be considered a fan or would consider that a betrayal? You know, I've thought about that. What if they were the Oklahoma Mets, right? Would I still love them? Yes. What if they changed their name and they stayed in New York, but they became the New York Senators or the New York whatevers? No, I would cease to like that team. It's the name of the team, not the city they're in. For me, it is. For me. That's a great question. I've actually thought about that. That's a great question. I don't know why you asked that question. It was a great question. Have you ever listened to rap music back in your early days? Yeah. I listen to everything but country. I hate country. Isn't that weird? I'm from the South and I hate country. I even was on a country radio station. I was a DJ for a country radio station. I hated Taylor Swift. I still do. Most overrated Star Wars character in the EU? Spider Saber. I'd love to answer that, but y'all would revolt against me because it's a very loved character in the EU that I do not. I despise. I don't despise. I just think it's super overrated. I'm not going to say it. I'll say it when we do a review on that character. But it's a popular character I don't like. Guess all you want. I'm not saying anything. And do I think Anakin Skywalker, trained by a proper Jedi Master, would have been a greater Jedi to save the Order, or do you believe his turn was Sith of Destiny? He was destiny, destined to be bad. I don't think anyone would have helped him. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Yeah, the Gorillas. I've heard a few stuff from them. Legacy is really good. Yeah, the Legacy comic books, they're really good. I liked them. Oh, I didn't even know the guy from Planet of the Apes was working on a Batman. I guess. I don't mind Ben Affleck as Batman, folks. Oh, you asked me about the DC universe too. I love DC more than Marvel. I have hated every DC movie that's come out since, well, starting with their Man of Steel reboot up to, what was the one that just came out? It's not good, folks. It's not good. Overrated. No, it's okay. Wonder Woman's okay. It beats all the other DC movies, but the snot in my Kleenex beats Man of Steel, Batman, and Batman. I almost said Batman, Robin, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, which those are hours of my life I will never get back. But Wonder Woman. Are we just cheering for the kid who can never get first place? Is that what we're doing? It was all right, but let me ask you that. All right, before I get skewered, I'm going to get skewered on Wonder Woman. I know I am. I haven't even scrolled down here. I know I'm going to get skewered on Wonder Woman. Why does Batman say, maybe someday you'll tell me the story? She ended the war in front of 1,000 or thousands of witnesses. She saved this big town. She ran out into a trench in full Amazon armor and charged toward them with hundreds of people in the trench seeing that, knowing what happened, and no one says anything. The world's greatest detective can't dig into history and find some of the most epic, most important, most pivotal battles. Remember, they said they've been trenching there for weeks, months. It was going to be months more before they gained an inch. He said they gained 6 inches since they've been there or something. And she charges in there. Those are big moments. How does Batman not know about her? This is garbage. It's garbage. I love DC. I love DC. I love their animated stuff. I think they're fantastic. I love their comic books. I'm a DC fan, and their movies are just awful. Wonder Woman does that Super Mario Brother jump into that old rickety church, punches it, and the whole church explodes. I laughed. I was like, oh, what? What? I think Wonder Woman is a terrible actress. Chris Pine did fantastic in it, and there was some good stuff in it. Yeah, there's a lot of good scenes in it. She's terrible. She's a terrible actress. Oh, she's hot. No, I don't know. She's just such a bad actress. I don't know. Hey, I'm a movie grump. I'm a movie grump. Please don't hate me for that. I just am. If you enjoyed the movie, that's really all that matters. But I was thinking, what the heck? This doesn't make sense. Have I ever read Dune? Yes, I own all of the Dune. I love Dune. Dune is super good. Anything by Kevin J. Anderson and Frank Herbert's son, Brian Herbert, fantastic too. Fan friggin' tastic. Love it all. Dune is excellent. Has EU ever explored the relationship between Owen and Anakin? No, I don't think they had time, to be honest, to explore that relationship. Which saber design do I like? I would just go with the plain Jane one. Luke's. You know, I know that's not snazzy. It's not got the curve like Count Dooku's or, double-sided lightsaber. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd go for Qui-Gon's was nice too. No, Qui-Gon's. I go for Qui-Gon's. He had a nice lightsaber. Qui-Gon. Luke's is classic to me though. If Qui-Gon would have lived, I think it was destined for him to die. If Qui-Gon would have lived, he might have been able to calm Anakin. But I think it was part of destiny, Anakin's destiny, for Qui-Gon to die. I know that's kind of getting deep there, but I think it is. A lot of new groups aiming to bring together both EU fans and canon fans. Do you like the idea, or do you think it's better to keep them apart? No, put them together. That's fine. As long as everyone can play nice, I'm fine with that. Bruce is a huge new canon fan on Prince of the Universe, and I'm a hardcore EU fan. One of my other good friends in Phoenix hates the EU, and he was my first choice to be on my podcast, Prince of the Universe. He was my first choice because I said you'd be perfect because you're the opposite of me, and I wanted that balance. But Bruce was good because he likes the EU, but he loves the new canon. I said, well, that's good. That's a good balance there. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think they should keep the stories separate, though. All right. How is the story of the Death Star plans told in Legends? Well, read the book Death Star. That's a simple question, wasn't it? It combines all the little stories and puts it together. Favorite romance in Star Wars? Luke and Castilla. That's going to shock you. What's the best fan fiction that you declined to put in your Tales books? What's the best? Oh, doggone it. I said I was going to get those books, didn't I? I totally forgot. I'll read them off to you real quick. Oh, you can't find a lot of them anymore, unfortunately. But actually, some of these you probably can find. All right, so do I wish that George kept Shaak Ti's death in episode 3 so that Grievous in Clone Wars would just keep her alive for no reason? It didn't matter to me either way. New 52 for DC. DC Rebirth, I hear, is really good. My brother keeps up with it more than I do, but yeah, I hear it's good stuff. Batman Year One. Good call. Good call. Whoa. Let me find my place again. I'm going to read off these. All right. Wow, I am so behind. Well, I'm not going to get it tonight, folks. Let's see. Whoa, there is a lot here. Okay. I don't know of where you can find the Han Solo Hungarian books anymore. In Hungarian, I hear it's still used bookstores they have them. I just got some copies a long time ago, and I can't remember where. No, I can't remember. All right, so Desert Inconvenience. These are the fan fiction I like. Desert Inconvenience, Something of Value, The Pen is Mightier Than the Sith, The Flute Droid, and flute is spelled P-H-L-U-T, droid. Shades of Grey, The Tale of the Headhunter, and A Conflict of Loyalties, and Never Too Heavy. Those are some I really liked. All right, I got 2 minutes left. Let's do this. Why do I like the Mets if I live in Louisiana? I grew up in Mississippi, actually, and the Double-A team, the Jackson Mets, played there. And my dad took me to see the Jackson Mets all the time. So I got to see Mookie Wilson when he got injured in '86, when he slid into second base, he got some glass in his eye because his sunglasses broke and shattered and a piece went in his eye. He played with the Jackson Mets for a short time, so I got to see Mookie play. Gary Carter had that knee surgery the year '85 or '86. And so he warmed up with the Jackson Mets. And so I got to see Gary Carter, Hall of Famer Gary Carter, who was pissed he did not get put into the Hall of Fame as a Met. He went in as an Expo. I got to see Greg Jeffries, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin McReynolds, and someone else who actually got to – one of the Jackson Mets got to start in the World Series in '86. He got called up to AAA and then jumped and made the cut for the postseason, Kevin Elster. And he started for the in game 3 or 4. He started, and to me, seeing him growing up and watching his entire season, and then seeing him in the World Series, instant Met fan right there. I'm getting sick of superhero movies too. Oh, let's go Mets then. Whatever, try doing philosophical videos on EU characters once your expanded universe reviews are finished. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Remind me in 3 years when I'm done with it. It won't be 3 years. Hopefully it won't be 3 years. Yes, Elseworlds, Superman. Yeah, Speeding, that's a good one. And the Waynes, yeah, any of the DC Elseworlds, that's good stuff too. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yes, I did read that. It's funny, Dark Phoenix. You said the Disney making the EU canon convinced you to read it. And you know what? There's a few people who are like that. It's like, what was this that everyone gets upset about and everyone loves, that hates that they took away? And that's how a lot of people have been getting in the EU. It is funny how that happened. Did George Lucas ever like the Ewoks and Droids cartoons? I heard he did, but I don't. Yeah, there's rumors, but I'm sure he did back in the day. Anything that made him money. Who in my option, which may be my opinion, is the best for Superman as a lover? Wonder Woman or Lois Lane with superpowers? Lois Lane. I didn't get. I mean, I understand the whole Wonder Woman Superman thing, but he needs to be with a regular person, Lois Lane. But I hate Superman. I love Asard from the X-Wing books. Spencer. Skype. You're going to Gen Con, I think. I need to talk to you. Do you think if Filoni brought in Hayden and Ewan to reprise the role as Anakin, would it still be the character? No. I think their voices would be nice, but I think the storylines that were written would still be not so good. Interesting thought, though. Thrawn versus Mandalore the Ultimate? The Mandalore. Depends. What does Thrawn have at his disposal? How much time does Thrawn have to plan? And what does he have at his disposal? That'd be a great fight. Oh, Senator, I do not hate you for liking The Force Awakens and Rogue One. I don't. I don't fault anyone. This is where I'm going to end here, folks. I don't fault anyone for liking the new stuff at all. As you know, I mean, I poke fun. I do poke fun. I make fun, you know, of it all the time. I pick on Bruce all the time about it. But I have no problem with anyone liking those movies at all. That you're exactly right. Everyone has their different viewpoints. Like I know a lot of people who love, and they said that the Wonder Woman movie is the best movie ever, and they're going to regret that in 5 years, maybe 3. But you know, I don't fault anyone for liking movies I don't like. My opinion is a lot different than everyone else's, and I know that. I understand that, and I'm fine with that. Not everyone has to think the same way we do, folks. In closing here, a friend of mine passed away unexpectedly last weekend. And he was a good guy, and he never complained. And he was a director of local theater here in town. One of my favorite shows I ever did with him was Jekyll and Hyde. And he gave me my dream role. I wanted to play Dr. Jekyll. I do not have the vocal range for that. But he gave me this other amazing character that I just loved. And that's still my favorite show that I've ever. I don't do theater anymore, hardly that much at all. But that's still my favorite show. He just had a heart attack. I mean, just 63, I think, just was walking around, had a heart attack, died instantly. I mean, that's just how it works, right? But his name was Hal, and he was a great guy. He lost his voice. For a director to lose his voice, that's pretty bad. The dude never complained. Never complained. He was taking Botox shots, and his voice was getting back. And I remember I talked to him early this year, I think, and I said, "Wait a minute, you're talking!" And I was like so excited. It was always good to see Hal. And but the man always had. He was always thankful for everything. I always remember, even when things were bad, because the theater he worked at, it closed. So he didn't have a job. He didn't have a voice. Life was just kicking him when he was down. And the man never complained. And he was always thankful for everything. And he came to all of my shows. I would invite him. I would pay for his ticket if he wanted me to. He'd always pay for his own ticket, but I would gladly have paid for his tickets 1,000,000 times over. $45 ticket, I'd pay for Hal 10 times over, because his opinion meant a lot to me. I wanted him there. I just love that man so much. And but anyway, as a point to my friend here, Hal, be thankful for everything you have. You know, as we reflect when loved ones die, we think things like that. But be very thankful. I just want to give those parting. I feel like Jerry Springer, right? Giving those final words. But be thankful for all that you have, because Hal was very thankful, and that's something that I'm trying to learn here, because I'm thankful. We do have trials and tribulations, don't we, folks? But remember, there's so much to be thankful for in this life, and I'm thankful for all of you for joining me tonight on this extended live Q&A. That's because I showed up late, and I said if I showed up late, I would extend the Q&A. I'm always a man of my word. But I do have to run. Folks, thank you so much for the questions. Again, I'm so sorry. I'll never get to the bottom of these questions, and that just warms my heart. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun. Let's do it again next month. Heck, we should do this weekly. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Wait, well, hold on. Once I find where the stop button is, I'll see you later. Bye.